The World Series is underway, so is the NFL season, the NBA season, and yes, there's actually hockey with the NHL. Where can you support your team and your favorite player? By going to Fanatics. Go to snowmaninthemorning.com/fanatics. That's snowmaninthemorning.com/fanatics. Select your favorite jersey or your favorite gear from your favorite team or your favorite player, and you can support not only your favorite team or favorite player, but you can support this morning show as well. Go to snowmaninthemorning.com/fanatics, and you can support anybody involved in sports with all the seasons going right now. It's Fanatics, where sports fans shop. And when you go there, tell them Snowman sent you. Thank you. Hey everybody, Snowman here, and thanks for listening to this episode of Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson. Want to tell you about a little thing we like to call Monkey Knife Fight. Wait, what in the world is that, you may ask? Well, Monkey Knife Fight is a daily fantasy site where you can play your favorite games, support your favorite players, and make money at the same time. And right now, if you go to monkeyknifefight.com and use the code Snowman, you will get a 100% deposit match on up to $100 on your initial deposit. Go to monkeyknifefight.com and use the code Snowman for an up to 100% deposit on your first deposit of up to $100. Thanks, and tell them Snowman sent you. The following is a presentation of Galaxy Sports and the SDM Sports Radio Network.
All right, here we go. 4th and 18 for the Tigers. Here's your ball game. Nick Marshall stands in, steps up, going to throw downfield, just a home run ball, and it is tipped up. And Lewis going on the deflection. Lewis is going to score. Lewis is going to score. Lewis is going to score. Touchdown Auburn. Touchdown Auburn. A miracle in Jordan Hare. A miracle in Jordan Hare. 73 yards. And the Tigers, with 25 seconds to go, lead 43-38. Over there. 3 wideouts at the top of the picture. Stewart with time. Lets it go. He's got 3 people down there. The ball's up in the air. Caught. Touchdown. Caught by Westbrook for a touchdown. Incredible. Here's Stock ready. Has the ball. Rolls to the right, looking downfield, sets up and heaves it towards the right side of the end zone. It should be jump ball, tipped in the air. Oh! It's caught! Touchdown! The Wildcats win! Winner! Caught the deflected pass! Unbelievable! Ewan going to go back to throw the ball. Sets up, looks, throws toward the corner of the end zone. It is intercepted! Intercepted! The next down the ball! Down to the 35! The 40! Kenny Wheaton is going to score! Kenny Wheaton is going to score! 20! Touchdown! Touchdown! Kenny Wheaton on the interception! There we go. Here's your ball game, folks, as Rudy takes the snap. He drops straight back, has some time. Now he scrambles away from one hit. Looks, unclutches a deep one for the end zone. Phelan is down there. Oh, he got it! He got it! He got it! Touchdown! 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 Boston College! He did it! He did it! Rudy did it! He got Phelan in the end zone! Touchdown!
Now it's time to party. The AB Sports-tacular is on the air. I'm Brian, that's Artie, and Artie, I'm so glad to have you, my man.
Hey, great to be here with you, Snowman. It's been exciting. We're entering that time of year in college football where it's rivalries. It's number 1 versus number 2, like last week, Tennessee and Georgia. Big game early this week. You're gonna see what Georgia can do after having a huge win when they go face the Professor and Mississippi State, the Bulldogs, the Cowbells. It's gonna be crazy at Starkville. And in all the great years, Starkville's had Mississippi State's had some great teams, right?
Yes, they have.
Starkville in years, so there could be him. You look at the line in this game, 16.5. That's a lot of points after seeing the road dog called Georgia. What a defense, huh, Brian?
Yes. And everyone expected them to fall off because they had so many players drafted. They had so many players go in. They had so many players
in
go
the
into
first
the draft.
round.
Yep. And Kirby Smart said, so what? We'll beat you with our defense anyway. But one of the players I love on that Georgia squad is on the offense, and his name is Brock Bowers.
Oh, the tight end. What an animal. He, along with Kincaid, the tight end from Utah, they've had unbelievable years. And these guys, they're fast, too. They don't look like the old lumbering Gronkowski type of tight end, although Gronk had great speed in his day. But when you got a tight end, 6'3", 250, and can move up and down the field at 4'6", 4'7", that's a load. And I think that's going to be the key to this game. I'm going to take Georgia. I'm going to go with the over 53 and a good first half. But I think that Georgia defense is just too much, going to cause some turnovers. And Will Rogers, he's going to probably have to be like Pepper Rogers to get through this one.
I mean, here's how I look at it. And my partner Cole Johnson on my morning show explained it perfectly. Mississippi State has one quarter, the first quarter, to figure out what Georgia can do. If they don't figure it out, then Georgia's going to eat them alive anyway. But with them being on the road, you would expect this to be sort of a trap game. But with Georgia being the defending national champions, there's no way that's going to happen. They're going to be ready Saturday night in Starksville, Mississippi.
Oh, yeah. No doubt about it. And, I got to tell you, I've been watching Coach Leach for many, many years, starting out at Texas Tech, then moving to Wazoo, Washington State. This guy could better a game plan. Yes. And I just don't think he has the receivers to challenge this Georgia defense. Now, if they can keep the game close in the first half, maybe get a turnover, a break in the second half, well, it's college football. Anything can happen, Brian. But I just don't see it happen. I think right now it's Georgia and every other week Ohio State, and then there's the rest of the crew in college football. Georgia is that good. Now, we have a DC game that I think is going to be awesome. What do you think? What do you think about Ole Miss hosting in the Grove, Alabama, who's all of a sudden got losses? They've played really not great football on the road. A lot of mistakes, a lot of penalties. Are they due to play great? Young is still the Heisman Trophy quarterback. What are your thoughts on the 12 points there? And that over-under is just a little bit high for my taste. 66. It's moved from 64 to 66.
66 is the big number. I said it last week, and I'm going to say it again. Alabama's ripe for an upset. They're ripe for an upset after losing last week.
And here's the key.
On the play of the
late
year. And
it was.
LSU surprised Bama. I think Mississippi is going to surprise them because Mississippi has always given Alabama fits. They've given them fits since that interception in 2014 in Oxford, Mississippi, that stole that game. And 11.5 is the number. 63.5 is the over under. I'll go ahead and call for it. I'm going to call for the upset, and I'm going to take the points. I think Alabama is ripe for a third loss. They're not playing good team football right now.
I got to agree with you. And I'll tell you what Lane Kiffin has this year that he hasn't had in the past against Alabama is he's got a running game, and he actually has a defense that can keep Alabama out of the end zone maybe every third time, something of that nature. I'm going to go with you on that. I'm going to take Lane Kiffin, Ole Miss in the Grove, and the 11.5, and I think it's going to be a high-scoring game, only because I think one of the two teams is going to get out to a lead, and then the other team, it's incumbent on the other team to make it back. So those are two Southeastern Conference big ball games, okay? And we're not even talking about LSU and Arkansas yet.
No,
or
we'll get to
LSU Texas.
We'll get to LSU and Arkansas. We'll get to LSU and Arkansas in just a moment, man. We got a fantastic slate. The one I'm really going to pay attention to is number 4 TCU and number 18 Texas. No one expected Texas to be anywhere near.
How can number 4 be? Snowman, how can Texas be favored by 7 points and TCU be number 4 in the nation? Is that just a lack of total disrespect for Sonny Dykes and the Horny Frogs? I mean, the Horned Frogs are playing great football. They've been down by 17, 14 in the second half, and they come roaring back in every game.
Mm-hmm. They come back, they roar back in every game, just like they're going to roar back in this one. Look, as bad as I want to pick the home team in Texas, Matt Duggan and TCU are playing dynamite, and they also know that their spot in the Final Four hangs in the balance every single week. They've been given the challenge. They've got to run the table, and they have to win the Big 12 championship in Dallas. They have to come into the CFP. They got to come to the New Year's Eve party undefeated. Any loss by TCU, especially in a game like this, against Texas, and Texas is starting to feel their oats again, and it's over. Because TCU was supposed to bust the BCS party in 2010 along with Boise State. And that didn't happen because neither one got elected to the BCS. They played the Fiesta Bowl.
And let's be honest. Sarkisian is a heck of a football coach. He's been everywhere. But when it comes to big games, not so much. Okay?
No.
And Quinn Evers is still a freshman quarterback. And Ewers can do a lot of great things on the field. Saw what he did against Alabama early in the season. But he's still a little bit banged up. And Bijan Robinson, as great a running back as he is, the game's going to come down to, can Texas stop TCU? And that's a big fat no. They can't. So we're going to take the 7 with TCU. We're going to take the 7, and we're going to bet the over, which I think is 64 and a half. It's moving around. All these spreads have just been going bananas all week. I mean, SC opened up as a 21-point favorite.
They've been going
SC opened up as a 21 favorite tonight, 21-point favorite against Colorado. Now they're at 34 and a half. I mean, I look at the spread in the Indiana. Yeah, the Michigan game. Michigan game is going up by the minute. I mean, who knows? I guess it has to do with injuries. That's one thing that bugs me about college football, Snowman. Maybe we could talk about this for a minute. It's tough to make picks when you don't know who's going to play. I mean, can't we come out with a list on Friday, a guy that's questionable, probable, not going to play? I mean, this UCLA situation with Charbonnet, you know, a lot of people were waiting for him to get on the field. He had his helmet on, his uniform on last week, and he never even touched the field. Now, they said he's got something, some shoulder. No, that's the coach. He and the coach are not seeing eye to eye.
They're not seeing. You're right. They're not seeing eye to eye. They're not seeing eye to eye. And it's sad that we have that stuff like that happen. It's also sad that in college football, we're not given that kind of media members like you and I are not given that list. Who's probable, who's questionable, who's out. The only parts of that list that you get, and you touched a great point. Let's stay on this point. The only piece that media members like you and I get, and they look at us, they look at you and I as also Rans, even though we know more than some of the folks that are on Fox Sports or ESPN or whatever. We only get the players who are out. We don't get the questionable. We don't get the probable. We don't get anything like that because they don't want to see us actually expose the truth when it comes to these lists, when it comes to college football, period.
Well, let's look at it, Snowman. Let's look at it, okay? I do this, you do this. We've done this now for 7 weeks, all right? Our best bet's 1-9. That's 70%. How many of the experts in Vegas are shooting 70%?
Yeah.
None of them, okay? If we looked at all of our picks,
not many.
5 a week for 7 weeks, 35 picks, well, we're a little more, pedestrian there. We're 24, 21, and 6. But 6 ties, I mean, first of all, every game should have a half a point one way or the other.
Absolutely.
Kissing your sister's not what it's all about when it comes to gambling.
No.
Unless you got a 14 parlay, you don't mind it that way. It's a 3-team parlay. Okay, whatever. But I got the upset of the week, in my opinion. I think after LSU had such a great game last week, doing what they did, going for two, Jaden Daniels playing out of his mind, I just have a funny feeling Arkansas and Sam Pittman are laying in the weeds, waiting for LSU to show up. And how tough is it going to be for Ben Kelly to get the Bayou Bengals, the Tigers, back ready to play a big game early Saturday, and they're at Arkansas.
In Memorial Stadium. In Memorial Stadium in
not an easy
Fayetteville.
place
That
to
is
play.
not an easy trick to do. When you're featured in the primetime game.
Yeah, and I believe the quarterback at Arkansas was their quarterback at LSU very recently.
Yes. Exactly. I mean, how tough is it going to be when you're coming off of a primetime ESPN game against Alabama where you pull the trigger and score the upset, and now you have to go to Arkansas on the road in an early game. You pointed out the key factor of this. It's an early game. And that brings us to our calls of the day presented by Cricket. Cricket Wireless powers the SDM Sports Radio Network. Let's go back to LSU this past Saturday night. Chris Blair, if you would, please.
Down at 10 at the 25. Daniels going to keep trying to get to the edge. Gets by one defender. Cuts inside a blocker at the 20. Got another block at the 15. 10-5. Touchdown. Fighting Tigers. Jaden Daniels. 25-yard run. One play and a score.
And if you remember in 1988, there was such an upset that it actually caused an earthquake in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. But wait a minute, folks. That wasn't the play that caused the earthquake this past Saturday night. This one is. Chris Blair.
Daniels, sprint out, throw to the right, caught, right corner of the end zone, Mason Taylor, Tigers win, hey now, 32-31, and the fans storm the field.
Boy, did they ever storm the field. 32-31's the final. And I'm going to go with you on that. I got a chance. Arkansas is waiting in the wings for him.
1979, I got a chance to kick in that stadium. And in pregame warmups, there were 90,000 people there. And we were USC. We were the defending national champions. And LSU always brought a good crowd. And, I mean, the excitement there. Only place I've ever been other than the Rose Bowl was at the Big House in Michigan when I was there with Cordell Stewart in Colorado when he threw the ball 65 yards to Westbrook and they beat Michigan on the final play of the game, which we have on our highlights every week. That was another one that was just incredible. But this is the love and the passion and the pageantry of college football, and it's going to be fantastic. I'm looking forward to it. The only other game that I'm real concerned about, being a Pac-12 fan, is this game. Oregon's kind of in a little bit of a trap game here. They've got Washington, which is their all-time rival over the years, UW. When UW comes to Autzen Stadium, it's always exciting. And I look at that game, and I look at the transformation of Oregon since the first game where they got blown out by the Georgia Bulldogs. And you see Bo Nix, and you see the speed that Oregon has, and you see the great receivers that Washington has. This has the earmarks of a unbelievable shootout in Autzen Stadium. Your thoughts on that game?
Autzen Stadium is going to be louder than hell that night. They're going to be loud. They're going to be loud as hell with Washington coming in the house. Both teams are ranked. Washington at 24, Oregon at 6. 13.5 is the spread. 72 is the over/under. You know, as crazy as this sounds, I'm betting the over with these two, with Penix and Bo Nix. I wouldn't be surprised if this is an 80-point game before the overtime.
We were going to talk a little bit about Heisman trophies. And what Michael Penix did at Indiana that one season where he beat Penn State, I think he had Ohio State on the ropes for a while. I mean, this kid is far underrated. He's a left-handed quarterback. I was looking down my list of Heisman Trophy people, right? And this is such a spectacular year I mean, they're talking about Caleb Williams and C.J. Stroud and Hendon Hooker and Bryce Young.
Mhm.
Bo Nix was like 5th or 6th. Now you got, you got RG3 talking about Blake Corum from Michigan, the running back. Whatever happened to running backs, Snowman? You used to be, years ago, running backs were the most important part. Yeah, it's like in the NFL, you can find a running back. Yeah. I disagree. I think the game has got to come back to where you're controlling the ball, dominating with the big uglies up front. And I love to throw the ball all over the yard. But the bottom, if you get a 10-point, 2-touchdown lead and you can pound the ball, you eat the clock up, you keep your guys fresh. I've never understood what happened
and you
to
keep
the
your
football
defense
running
fresh.
back.
You keep your defense fresh at all. Let's go to the Fanatics feedback zone. Joined from Norway, Sick Diggy joins us saying, greetings, folks. The Hawk TV joins us as well. And BS3 Network all the way from Texas is joining us. So we're all over the place this afternoon. We were supposed to go on last night, had some technical difficulties, but we are here today. How come Max Duggan doesn't get any love for the Heisman Trophy? Him nor Michael Penix.
I was thinking about that the other day, or even that Dorian Thompson-Robinson for UCLA. They're having one of the best years ever. You don't hear anything about him. I have a funny feeling, or for that matter, Jaden Daniels from LSU. It's almost as if this bad boy is so evenly spread out this year that I think who comes to the forefront these last 3 weeks of the season, I think it's really going to have a telling measure on who actually captures this year's Heisman Trophy Award. And I still say, if C.J. Stroud could have a game against Michigan, and then play real well in the Big Ten playoff, I still think he has the inside track. The kid has great talent, but it's anybody's ball game here. I mean, really if Bo Nix goes off tonight or tomorrow, Caleb Williams. Here's an interesting stat that I never thought of. All the years of great Colorado football, USC football, they've played 50 times. How many times do you think the Buffaloes have won?
That's a good question.
How about if I showed you 0? They've never beaten the University of Southern California. And that's an amazing statistic. And this might be the last game they're going to play because SC and UCLA are going to be moving to the Big Ten.
Going to the
Big Ten +6 or +8, whatever it is. But, so I found that to be really, really bizarre. But what a great week of college football. So much fun. Going to be great stuff. I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be a fun weekend.
I'm looking forward to it also. And I'm also looking forward to this show expanding beginning next week and truly becoming the Sportstacular as it's named. But it's college football today. It's what Artie and I got us started. And folks, where are your picks? Make your picks along with us because we're working on getting a lot of things done. Got a friend of mine in Atlanta that wants to shop this show. Artie's going to shop this show to give us some more sponsors because when this thing really morphs, we will see you fans of Radio Row in Phoenix, Arizona. That's I got one more
I want to talk about. One more I want to talk about.
All right.
University of North Carolina and their fantastic freshman quarterback, May, taking Wake Forest and Sam Hartman. 7:30 p.m. ESPN. Here's another one I don't understand. I think UNC should be favored in this game. I guess they're saying they're at Wake Forest and the Demon Deacons. -3.5, 76.5. That's a tough game to look at. I had North Carolina last week. I lost on a last-second meaningless touchdown. I was laying the 7, and, they were up by 10, and the guy scored, and North Carolina won by 3. What a way to lose. I always do that. I call them bad beats.
Yes.
It happens. Believe me. It happens.
The last 2 years that North Carolina and Wake Forest have gotten together has produced 100-point games. The over-under in this one is 76.5. I'm going over because Drake May is a dark horse for the Heisman. Sam Hartman also, but no one wants to give them any love because they play in the ACC, which unfortunately is deteriorating right before our eyes. I liken the ACC to the Big East. Basketball started the conference, and football is going to kill it. I hope that to not be the case. I hope that to not be the case, but we saw it happen with the Big East. It's slowly beginning to deteriorate the ACC. Like I said, I hope that I hope I'm wrong with that declaration, but I'm going with North Carolina on the road and Drake May, and I wouldn't be surprised if this is another 100-point game, another 58-55 kind of game like it was last year at Kenan Stadium.
Definitely like the over 76.5. I think I'd have to take the Tar Heels in this one because I just don't know the health-related factors with Sam Hartman. Some weeks he looks like he's right on top. The next week he doesn't look like he's moving very well. The only other thing that I wanted to touch bases with you about regarding college football this weekend was just how well can Tennessee bring the forces back together with Missouri. You know, I mean, coming to Tennessee, can Hendon Hooker and Coach Heupel, can you get these guys back together and cover a 21-point spread against the University of Missouri, which is a good football team? They can, huh?
I say yes.
I like them too.
I say yes.
I like them too. I just wanted to throw that out there, see what people thought, what you thought.
I like Hendon Hooker, and I like that Vols offense. I say yes. I say they cover.
Yeah, I was amazed last week. I think the rain didn't help them. I think the crowd between the hedges and ends, you know, I mean, Vince Dooley Field at Sanford Stadium, I think, unless you've actually been there, you don't realize just how loud it is. And I got to tell you, the speed of that Georgia defense, coupled with the crowd noise, the offensive line, they could not even. I mean, how many offsides did they have? You know, illegal procedure penalties on the left tackle alone. I counted 5. I mean,
I counted 5,
and that's silent count. 5. One thing I noticed about that silent count when the quarterback slaps his hands, if you're a great defensive player, you can sure get off the ball pretty quickly.
Really
quick. Slaps those hands, and that's something that I think is an advantage.
Oh, Georgia did it 4 times last week in the rain in Sanford Stadium. They did it 4 times. There's no, you can time that hand clap. If you're a defensive presence like Georgia is, and you're smart, you can time that hand clap. Because a lot of offenses now in college football are running their offense out of the shotgun, and they're using the hand clap, and more defenses are picking up on it. That's a big thing. They're picking up on it. They are really picking up on it. Next week we're going to add some sports to talk about, including the NBA. We're going to add the NFL, and my NFL pick of the week goes San Francisco over San Diego. Yes, I said San Diego Chargers. The number is 7. The spread is 7. I say take it. I say lay the points because San Francisco's coming off of a bye. The Chargers barely won against Atlanta, and now they see the top defense in the NFL.
And you saw Atlanta last night. Not a whole lot to be excited about.
Not a whole lot.
So here's my call. You know, we got a big slate of games. Seattle, to me, is the most surprising team other than the Eagles of the NFL. Now you got to throw the Vikings in there too. But right now they're going to be in Munich. They're taking on Tampa Bay. I don't know how much money Tom Brady's lost in this crypto meltdown, but from what I'm hearing, it's a lot. So I'm wondering, as I look at this schedule, and almost all the home teams are favored except the Steelers, the Packers, and of course there's no home team in Munich. I like Seattle. I like them to actually they're getting 3 points on the road in Germany, and I just don't think Tampa Bay is what they once were, and I think this Seattle team is the team to watch in the last few weeks. So my 2 upset picks tomorrow on Sunday, I'm going to go with Seattle, and I'm going to go with the Pittsburgh Steelers at home, getting 2 points against a team that I just don't think is that good in the New Orleans Saints.
Yeah, I don't think that they're not that good. They're not that good. I'll challenge you on that, and I'm doing this more from heart, I'll challenge you on that Tampa Bay Seattle game. Even though Seattle is the overwhelming pick, for some strange reason, for some strange reason, I smell a trap game with Seattle as well as they're playing. And remember, San Francisco has a leg up on them in the NFC West because they beat them in week 2 in Santa Clara, and they see them in 4 weeks' time in Seattle.
Snowman, how far of a flight is it from Seattle to Munich?
Pretty damn far.
That's a few time zones. That's
pretty
Hopefully
far.
they got there early in the week because one of those things. Yeah, it could be real tough. Hey, at least the beer gardens in Munich will be fun, no matter who wins or loses.
Yes. It's gonna be a wild time in Munich. Make your picks along with us. That's Artie. I'm Brian. This is an abbreviated edition of the AB Sports-tacular. Man, we're gonna have so much fun in building this. And next week we're gonna be on for a full hour talking sports. We're gonna highlight college football and we're gonna highlight college basketball. We got all kinds of stuff that we're gonna do. For Artie, this is Brian. We say thank you. God bless. We'll see you next week.
Have you had a chance to visit the brand new Snowman in the Morning shop yet? You haven't? Then what are you waiting for? Go to our new web address, snowmaninthemorning.com/shop. That's snowmaninthemorning.com/shop, where you can shop for all kinds of items like a coffee mug, a t-shirt, a sweatshirt, a book bag, and everything else that you need to have the same outfits and the same gear that the crew has. And with each purchase, you will be helping the Snow Strong initiative. We got a lot to do in a short time to get there. Go to snowmaninthemorning.com/shop and get the same stuff that the crew has. And when you do that, tell them Snowman sent you. Thanks. Hey everybody, Snowman here, and thanks for listening to this episode of Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson. Want to tell you about a little thing we like to call Monkey Knife Fight. Wait, what the world is that, you may ask? Well, Monkey Knife Fight is a daily fantasy site where you can play your favorite games, support your favorite players, and make money at the same time. And right now, if you go to monkeyknifefight.com and use the code Snowman, you will get a 100% deposit match on up to $100 on your initial deposit. Go to monkeyknifefight.com and use the code Snowman for an up to 100% deposit on your first deposit of up to $100. Thanks, and tell them Snowman sent you.
All right, here we go. 4th and 18 for the Tigers. Here's your ball game. Nick Marshall stands in, steps up, going to throw downfield, just a home run ball, and it is tipped up. And Lewis going on the deflection. Lewis is going to score. Lewis is going to score. Lewis is going to score. Touchdown Auburn. Touchdown Auburn. A miracle in Jordan Hare. A miracle in Jordan Hare. 73 yards, and the Tigers with 25 seconds to go. Lead 43 to 38. He's over there. 3 wide outs at the top of the picture. Stewart with time. Lets it go.